Hi boys and girls, I'm going to be showing you a video tutorial now on how to create a drawing of a tray using oil pastels where you're emphasizing positive space and negative space. The first thing that we want to do is start out by drawing our tray where we're showing a lot of branches. That's going to help emphasize the negative space. Now, if you have a way that you like to draw trees, that's fine. The only thing I'm going to say is no lollipop trees. Lollipop trees look kind of like this. The reason why is, first of all, it's not very realistic or interesting. Second of all, we really only have one negative space in this kind of a drawing. Whereas with a drawing where we have lots of branches, we have opportunities to show a lot of different, really interesting negative spaces. So for starters, you want to make sure that you start with your trunk. So typically you want to see roots coming in from the sides. And then you can start to add your branches. Now, some students are comfortable just drawing them like this. But if you're someone who's not comfortable with this, I'm going to show you a little trick, a little secret. It's called the Y tray. So you'll lightly start from the middle of your trunk and really, really light with your pencil. Let's see if I can even see that. Really light with your pencil. Draw a big letter Y, and then draw another letter Y, and another letter Y. And then from there, you can just connect other letter Ys, like that. Now you'll notice that most of my branches touch the edge of the page. That's going to allow me to close up these negative spaces. Now that I have all of my Ys in place, I'm going to flesh them out a little bit. Just like this. So now I'm kind of drawing almost like some bark around it. And then I'm going to go back in later and I'm going to make those areas a little bit. I'm going to go back in later and erase those areas. So now I would want to go in and erase my skeleton, you could kind of call it, which is made of Ys. Okay? So once you've erased all of that, now you want to get your oil pastels and start to look at your negative shapes. Now when we do this, we want to really emphasize our negative shapes and how beautiful they are. So I'm going to ask that you make your positive space in here, which would be the tree because that's our subject, black, and your negative space a variety of colors. You can choose to do every color in the rainbow, or you could choose to just stick to a certain color scheme, like let's say all warm colors like red, orange, and yellow, or all cool colors like blue, violet, and green. So to start off, you want to make sure that you're coloring just your negative spaces. Whenever we're using oil pastels, we always want to try to use black last. Now I'm choosing to use all of the colors in the rainbow. Now when you color with oil pastels, you don't want to just color as if they're crayons, because they're not crayons. If I wanted you to use crayons, we'd be using crayons. You want to color with it, but then you can actually blend it a little bit with your finger. And this is why we don't want to use the black until we're done. And you also want to make sure that your hands are clean. So if I go to smudge my orange, and then I want to make another area over here yellow, unless I wanted to blend my orange and my yellow together, I want to make sure that I'm not using a finger with the orange. So this is my orange finger here. Can we see that? So I'm going to use one of my clean fingers Now, if while you're working you wind up with all dirty fingers, you can always go to the sink and wash your hands. You don't have to ask. So I would do all of my negative spaces. Now, I'm going to actually speed up really quick and not show very good craftsmanship to finish this, but I'll have a finished example in the Drawing Center so you can see it. So this is a negative space here. So this is one area that I would color. Obviously, I would color that with better craftsmanship and much neater. This is a negative space. You can even jump around too with your colors. This is a negative space. This is a negative space. Negative. Okay, so negative is just any of our areas that are not occupied by a subject, okay? So this is just kind of like the background. Okay, so I'm just filling all of these areas in. Okay, but of course with much better craftsmanship than I'm using. Okay, so fill it all in. Once I have all of my negative spaces filled in, and I have them all blended and they're this kind of quality, okay, where we're seeing that good craftsmanship, then you can start to go in and add your black. And the reason why we want to do black is because the black oil pastel is very, very concentrated. And we don't want to have the black on there and then have it smudge into yellows and reds and things like that, because it will kind of mess those colors up a little bit, and we don't want to do that. So once that's all filled in, I can go into my positive space. Now I want my positive space to be really nice and crisp. So I'm going to start out by outlining my tree on those lines there. All of those boundaries, I want to make sure I outline first. So I'm not just going in and coloring, I'm outlining first. That's going to create a nice sharp boundary for me so that I can make sure that I don't wind up smudging my black into my lighter colors, like my yellows, my oranges, pinks, you know, any kind of colors like that. Okay, so I'm outlining the whole thing. Now that I'm done outlining, I can start coloring. Now when I color with this, because I don't want to blend too much on here with the black, because I don't want to smudge it, I want to really press hard. Now you don't want to hold from the top and press hard. You want to hold kind of close to the bottom, kind of close to where the tip is touching the paper. And this is going to really, really improve my craftsmanship, make it nice and dark. But you'll see that just adding that boundary, that line there, makes life so much easier. Okay. My goal here is to have as few white spaces left as I possibly can. Okay, so I fill all these in. Okay, so then, now I'm going to show you really quick with very poor craftsmanship how I would finish this. So this is my positive space. So my positive space, I'm going to be coloring black. You want to do this part though with the same craftsmanship and quality as we did with this area, okay? So pressing hard, making sure you have very few white spaces, making sure that you're staying within your lines that you drew. Okay, so right now, I have kind of my complete version of my positive negative space tree in oil pastel. Please check the Drawing Center for my completed example of this, but make sure that your craftsmanship is this quality and not this. And you can always see the rubrics in the Drawing Center as well for craftsmanship. Thanks!